Okay, now, Edo community might be asking this question in their mind. What I'm going to ask you now is another critical question. Do you think His Excellency Obaseki has insight into Edo culture and tradition?
With due respect, His Excellency is my governor, and I wish him well, and I will always support his government. Barco will always support his government. We love what he's doing. As an Edo man, yes. As an Edo man, yes. And for what he has done so far, for his contribution to the return of this artifact, yes, that shows that he has the insight of Edo culture and tradition as a true Edo man. So that question, yes, he has. Yeah, has it deep inside his heart. Yeah.
Why did you say so? Why did you say yes?
Yeah, why I said so is that before he came to power, Benin Dialogue Group, they have been negotiating and fighting for these Benin artifacts. And then he came and he followed it up. He did not say, no, I'm not interested. So he followed it up. I remember 2019 when I went to Benin to see Commissioner Osazero. The interest was huge. So his plan then was to introduce me to the governor and tell him, this is Barco President, this is what we are doing. Unfortunately, the time wasn't there for me. At that time, I have to return back to Germany. So, and Ero followed it up as well. Ero served as a commissioner under his government. So if he has no interest, I think Ero wouldn't do that, because I believe Ero was reporting to him as the boss. So he contributed, and so far so good. The discussion I have with our embassy here, they're always saying he's contributing. So if he doesn't have interest and he's not having insight of the Edo culture and tradition, he wouldn't do that. So those are the things I put into consideration.
Okay, now I think there are issues in Benin between Obaseki and the Oba Palace. Are you aware of that?
Indirectly, yes. Indirectly, yes, because it got to do with the Legacy Restoration Trust, right? It was put before our notice that, and we saw a statement issued from the palace, an interview and all stuff, that our palace is not in line with that particular group. And that particular group, to our understanding, it got to do with the custody of those artifacts if they are being returned. So, and our palace is not happy the way the Royal Restoration Trust was created. And there are questions our palace wanted to be answered there, because they don't know how it was created, who represented who, and the soliciting for funds somewhere, and by who, and how the financial stand, the transparency, and all those stuff. So the palace did not like it. And then we got a complaint, and then Barco complained to Nigeria embassy here. Though the embassy played it down in the beginning to say, no, our palace is satisfied, they are in line with Oba, is satisfied. We stress, we put pressure on them that it's not true. And we tried to reach out to the government of Edo State. We were unsuccessful because we don't have a representative there, which Barco is still working out to have one. So then, finally, the embassy now called, and they now finally got the official report that we were right. So, but that issue is not a drama. It's going to be resolved amicably between the two bodies. And because Barco, we will always remain loyal to our palace, that is our kingdom. And having said that, we will always be law-abiding and respectful of our state government. So we wouldn't want anything that would destabilize the process of bringing these artifacts back. So Barco, to our understanding, is that if our palace is not happy with the Royal Restoration Trust, they don't want them to be part of it, then they should go away out of it, because this thing involved the German government Nigeria Embassy, federal government, Edo State government, and the Oba of Benin. If one of these parties is not happy with a side group, because this group is a third party, it has nothing, it's not really negotiating with them, they're just interested in running the business. So if our palace is not happy with that, and then they should take them away, and that is our position. The discussion, there is all these things dialogue. So we want the two parties to speak. Edo government and the palace, we want them to speak, to sit down and resolve it. We want our governor to understand that Edo people are interested in this, very, very interested. We want our governor to be into this because we wouldn't want our palace to be unhappy. If our palace is unhappy, Edo people is unhappy. Mind you, our governor is a political leader. 4 years time, 3 years is no longer the governor. But the next person who took over there, we don't know how he's going to manage the whole thing. But our Abba remained forever. Because if these artifacts is not, the custody is not given to the Oba of Benin, that means our ancestors are still on the way. Even though you bring them to Benin there, if it's not officially given to the Oba of Benin, my brother, that means to we the Edo people, to Barco, our ancestors are still on the road. We want them to come home and rest. We want them to come out after 124 years. We want them to come home and relax and rest so that our kingdom can be in peace. You can see the way we behave today. We're supposed to be queens, and that is what we are, though, queens and kings. Because of the dismantling of the kingdom, and we don't have the army, we don't have the power, we don't have the authority anymore. You can see the behavior of some of our children in social media or whatever. You just say, what is going on here? These are the consequences of what we suffer. So we suffered enough. I have talked to many people in authority here in Germany, and I've told this concerning these artifacts, and that is what I've told them as the president of Barco, that our kingdom has suffered enough. We just want peace. So in this regard, we don't want anything that we wobble the whole thing within our own context. Because I remember the last time I spoke to one here, he said, with the German government, we can't do anything because that is you people's problem. Please solve it. I said, yeah, we will solve it. So my appeal on behalf of Barco to the palace and to the governor of Edo State that they should come together, dialogue, resolve these things. If possible, the legacy trust, the legacy restoration trust should step aside. So because they don't have a monopoly, anybody can run the museum if Oba approve it and do with the collaboration with the Edo government. That is our stand on that issue.
That means Edo people do not have faith in Obaseki as far as a Benin artifact campaign is concerned.
I will not use that language. No, I will not use that language because, Obaseki did not mean evil for Edo people. If bringing this group and the palace said they don't like it, so we have to wait for him to react and say, okay, since Edo people don't like it, since the palace don't like it, let me take it away. So that shouldn't be enough because he planning it. I have read some of his explanation by saying this group is capable of bringing funds. This group is capable of running all these things. So he mean well, but if
he talks about job opportunity as well. He talks about job opportunity.
Exactly. So if Edo people are seeing it differently, he should listen to the voice of Edo people. Because Oba of Benin is the voice of Edo people. So if the kingdom is saying no, which we are all loyal to, saying no, I don't want this thing, they are not the only group. So any group can do that. Barco can do that. Any group can run the palace, meaning the artifact, the museum. It's a matter of outsourcing. It can be outsourced to any group. Any group can bid for it, right? It shouldn't just be that the artifacts has not been returned, and there's a group already waiting on ground and say, I have the monopoly. No, we are Edo people. We all can vie for it. If it's an opportunity to make you, unless the sole a person to run the artifact, why not? So the Benin will now have a mind to say, yeah, this thing is in our care. We are happy now, we got all these things back. So that is what it is. So it's not enough to make Obaseki the devil. No. He's a pure son of Edo Kingdom. It meant well for us. So all these issues will be resolved and it will be resolved